How's it going, electric skateboarders, FPV pilots and any hobbyists out there? Today I'm doing a video on a product that I was sent and asked to review, and that's by HGLTECH. Now, I've had a couple of their products that I've used for FPV racing, for ESCs, flight controllers and things like that, and they make an excellent product. I use their Zeus board quite often, but they've branched off and they've gone into electric skateboards, and you'll see that a lot of their products, such as the VESC products or the ESC, have been rebranded Flip Sky, and you'll see that HGLTECH has a Flip Sky branded ESC as well. Now, they've sent me one of their new remotes, and it's a PPM remote. They do have their VX1, which is run through PPM or UART, but this one's solely PPM, which is really good for somebody who just wants a cheap remote. This one is in the form factor of a Wii nunchuck, which, you know, we all sort of knew at a time. It's like a joystick, so lots of people know how to use it, but the good thing about this is it has 4-channel, so you can easily hook it into an RC car, or really anything that has multiple channels. If you want something that's a little bit easier to control than either a throttle and a steering channel, but you know, for my kids, they'll know how to steer this a lot easier because they're used to playing the Nintendo and things like that. So I can hook this into an RC car and they're going to be able to use it a lot easier. Now, the other thing that I've seen on their website and one of their videos is you could set it up to run 2 motors that are you know, a 2-wheel drive system where they're independent from each other, like a wheelchair. So if you have an electric wheelchair and you want steering on this electric wheelchair and you have 2 motors running on the VESC, then you can set it up so forward is throttle, but then your left and right is steering. So you go left, your left motor goes, right motor goes. If you go right and if you go forward, both are moving. So you can have steering using those 2 motors. And the other thing that it's really good for is if you have a camper van or a trailer, you're not very good at reversing those trailers, you can get your outrunner motors and hook them up just with, you know, some friction mount to your tires, and you know, it gears it down really low, and then you can control your trailer steering with your hockey wheel at the front, your jockey wheel at the front, sorry, and get some independent steering there just with 2 of your electric skateboard motors, which is pretty cool. Use this. It's a really cheap system. They cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars if you're going to make them. You might be able to build it with some of your spare parts. I might even put this in an RC car and show it today. But what I'm going to do to review this is stick it in just an electric skateboard, which I got this for my daughter. It was really cheap at the time. It's just a single 250, they claim. Hub motor here, single drive, but it's really small and light. She's really young. I took the ESC out of there. It wasn't really as reliable as I wanted, and I'm going to limit the speed on this. And this has cruise control function as well, so I can stick my daughter on here and, you know, she can hold the button and cruise at a nice 5-6 kilometer pace and not hurt herself, which is really what I want. She can go for a ride while her sisters are on their bikes and have some fun without being injured. So that's what I'm going to do today. Hook these up and, you know, see how they perform. But they've sent me a second one. So to one of my subscribers, one of my viewers, if you make sure that you are subscribed, if you comment, make a comment below, and then I'll send you one of these remotes. I'll draw it randomly. Tell me why you need this and why it would be good for you, and I'll send it through. I'd prefer somebody in Australia. I'm in Australia. I'm sure that somebody might review this overseas. So, you know, let's get an Aussie person. It's a bit cheaper in postage. Otherwise, I will send it to you overseas. Just help contribute to postage. Okay, so I've got everything hooked up to the board now. The receiver's plugged in. I'm going to turn the remote on. That's bound. And the little green light's on saying that it's turned on. Now, okay, so I've just updated the firmware on the vest. This vest didn't have any bootloader, so I had to upload the new bootloader and then upload the firmware. So I'm going to start off with motor detection. The remote setup wizard. So first we're going to turn on the remote. I'm going to go next. We don't have any other vests connected, so there's no CAN bus there. And we're going to say we're using a PPM remote, because this is using PPM. Okay, so we're going to set our endpoints. So we're going to go all the way up, all the way down. And then we're going to apply that. We're going to go smart reverse. And we're going to apply and go next, because I want reversing function on this. So we're going to change it to smart. Okay, so I've finished putting this board together, programmed it on the computer, and the remote here that I'm reviewing by HGLRC or HGLTECH is like a Wii nunchuck type remote. So all that we do to turn it on is press this power button, and the board here I've set up to just turn on and the light turns green. So this is a really small white board. I made this for my daughter, but as you can see it works like a Wii nunchuck. So we're going to go forward. I put some RPM limiting on here because it's for my daughter and I want it to run slow. So it goes up and brakes, and I've set up reverse as well. So I've done that in the vest tool software. So we've got brake, and if I pull back more it just starts going backwards. It's the new smart brake feature. Now what we can do is we can go forward and we can press this top button and let go, and just hold it down, let go of it, and we got cruise control function, and it will just keep going at that speed. And I've tested this, it works really well, and all you have to do to stop it is press it again. You can use it, press it, and if you use the nunchuck, it doesn't work. It's probably the thing that I would like to change on this. I like to be able to reduce my speed without letting go, because if I let go and then press it again, it doesn't continue after that. So you have to use your throttle again and press it, let go. So I'd want to put my thumb about where I want it to be. I'd have to let go. It would continue and then press it again to continue it. This board, I can set it to 2-channel if I had 2 vests, up to 4 channels, so I could have a full drive board. And there is a cool feature where if you go left and right on this remote, then it will control the motor. So what I'm going to do to change that is the app button on this remote is the settings button. So I'll just hold that down for a second and it flashes like that. And then A is 1 channel, B is 2 channels, C is 3, D is 4. So if I go to B for 2 channel and I press that button there, it'll flash twice, meaning 2 channel. And then I'll just hold that button again, or just press it again, sorry, it will turn green. And then now it's on 2 channels. So I only have 1 motor set up, but if I pull the throttle forward, then it will spin that way. But if I move the throttle to the side, it also moves the same motor. So what you could do on a setup, and I would use this for my caravan or trailer more, but also for an electric wheelchair, you could have 2 motors and you can move them synchronized by pulling the trigger up. Now, if I wanted to move one independently, it would move that one. If I wanted to the other one, you move the other way. I don't have a second motor set up, but it would move the second motor that's on channel 2. And what this does is it manages to allow steering. So if I had a board set up with 2 motors and they were next to each other and I had this feature going left and right, it wouldn't turn because the trucks aren't wide enough. If it had really wide axles, it would work, like on a trailer or like on a wheelchair where you could have 1 motor drive and it would move you to one direction, the other motor drive would move you in the other direction. And then moving it forward would drive both motors, which would allow you to go forward. So it's a really cool setup. I really like that feature, and others don't have that. You know, again, I'm giving away one of these remotes because of this review. They've sent me these to review. And if you want it, subscribe, comment below, and share this video if you want. Like it, and then I'll post one of these to you. If you're in Australia, I'll post it for free. If you're international, just hit me up and I'll, if you want to pay the extra for shipping, and I'll pick you out randomly. Tell me why you want it.